Getting Trump to actually work is apparently not easy if you're not aiming a camera at him and telling him exactly when to say you're fired. Trump entered a business designed to create more geniuses like himself and actually called it, Trump University.
Then there's Trump University. No actual campus or degrees, but students, some of whom are now suing, plunk down up to $35,000 for seminars.
We're going to teach you about business. We're going to teach you better than the business schools are going to teach you. 97% approval rating from the people that went there.
But last year, New York State regulators demanded Trump stop calling it a university, and he did. And the Texas Attorney General's office opened an investigation into possible deceptive trade practices, which was dropped after the schools stopped doing business in the state.
Why did you call it a university?
Because we didn't know there was any rules or regulations about using the name university.
We didn't check that out?
I think probably they felt that we would have qualified. If we didn't qualify, that's fine. We changed the name.
We didn't know there was any rules. Of course, this very silly man who could not put a proper English sentence together thought he could start a business called a university because he didn't know there was any rules. If he had been paying attention in elementary school, which he obviously wasn't, he would know what's wrong with the sentence, "We didn't know there was any rules." But I'm not going to tell him here because I love watching this man tell us how smart he is while he mangles the English language. Then Mike Isikoff asked the question that Donald cares more about than anything else. And of course, Donald lied his way through every word of the answer.
How much are you worth?
A lot of money, and you may very well see that number in about 70 days or 80 days. Forbes said $2.7 billion.
Okay.
And 2.7 is very low. It's much lower than the actual number that I may be showing to people and to the rest of the world in a couple of months. If I run, shortly thereafter, I will send a statement of financial and cash and how much debt and all that, and I think people are going to be very impressed. It's actually much bigger than any numbers I've seen.
Real billionaires, none of whom have the time to hang with Donald Trump, do not work as cast members in NBC primetime entertainment shows, which of course is how Donald actually makes his living. His fake campaign will be over by May 16th when NBC announces Trump's position in next season's primetime schedule. In the meantime, he will continue, knowingly or not, to fan the flames of hatred in this country. Hatred of an imagined foreign-born president. A hatred that is born by many who simply hate that we have our first African-American president. There is something very ugly in what Donald Trump is doing, and it is built on a base of racism and paranoia. I'm not saying Donald Trump is racist or paranoid. He doesn't have to be to do the damage he is now doing to this country. He just has to be vulgar enough to keep barking out the lies that the racist, paranoid Obama haters want to hear. And in doing that for them, on major network television talk shows, he legitimizes their feelings, their hatreds, their racism. The millions out there who seethe with the madness that Donald Trump stokes watch him and say, hey, it's not just me who thinks this, Donald Trump thinks this. And he's a smarter guy than me, and I know he's a smarter guy than me because he says he's a smarter guy than me, and he's made a lot more money than me, and that proves he's smarter than me. Those people who agree with what Trump is saying about the president's birth aren't going to be bothered by his grammatical mistakes. They are just going to feel validated in every bit of the hatred they feel for Barack Obama. There are viewers of this program that wish I would never mention the name Donald Trump. They've had enough. So have I. I wish May 16th was coming tomorrow. But as long as Trump continues to try to influence our thinking about American politics and the presidency, I believe his lies must be fought because Trump's position in our culture now is sadly no longer simply a television entertainer who lies about nothing more important than how much money he has. When Donald Trump said, quote, I have a great relationship with the blacks. I've always had a great relationship with the blacks, end quote. A black friend of mine emailed me saying, one clue that you might not have a great relationship with the blacks is that you call them the blacks. No, Trump is not just an entertainer anymore. He is now a very dangerous man who must be stopped from doing the damage to this country he may or may not know that he's doing. Donald Trump has become America's frontman for the legitimizing of hatred and racism.